coming to you late night with some information that I think could change your life if you're looking to improve your health and your body composition. I had a question today. What's the secret? First off, there's no secret. All right? Hard work in the gym, eating whole foods from nature. We talk about high healthy fats, high protein, sure. Right? Everybody, we sound like a broken record saying that. But this is my personal recipe. This is my personal recipe that I've seen a lot of success with in how I approach lifestyle and diet. Now, I wake up, okay? I take Super U first thing in the morning. It has vitamins, minerals, electrolytes, amino acids, gives me focus, improves attention, motivation, mood, facilitates muscle contraction, fat burning, has anti-aging compounds, vitamins and minerals, all the B vitamins, has vitamin C, selenium. It's great for my body. Supports brain health, brain cell communication. I feel focused, I feel sharp, I have mental clarity throughout the entire day. That's how I start every day. Now, I don't eat anything until the afternoon, right? So I used to be strict and I would fast for, say, 20 hours, and then I would eat for 4 hours. And I was on that kick for like 3 years. And I had great results with it. But you don't need to do that. You don't need to be that extreme. And at this point in my life, I'm not that extreme. And I'm in the best shape I've ever been. I perform the best I've ever performed, mentally and physically. And I just feel great, right? So I don't eat in the morning. I go to the gym after I train someone or a couple people, say 12 o'clock if I'm not working in the practice that day, right? Or I'll work out at night in that case. But typical day, we'll say, train someone, go to the gym, start eating at like 1:30, 2 o'clock. Right after my workout, I start eating. But you're fasted and you're going to the gym and you're going to break down muscle. If you've gone through all of your glucose, your glycogen stores, right? Stored form of sugar. If you're doing HIIT and drop sets and things where you don't have ample amounts of oxygen because it requires oxygen to break down fat. Because normally we would go sugar, fat, then protein in terms of what we would break down in order, right? So here are a couple cheat codes, but we don't go in that order. When there's no oxygen, it goes sugar, then right to amino acids, right? Because again, we need oxygen to break down fat. So I take BCAAs, branched chain amino acids, leucine, isoleucine, and valine, and I take a hefty dose. I don't take your average dose. Remember, we did a video here at One Wellness, should be 91 milligrams per pound of BCAAs at a minimum for somebody looking to optimize body composition. You can get that through food as well, right? BCAAs you can find in meat, fish, poultry, things of that nature especially, right? Sure, eggs, things like that, and dairy, right? Dairy products as well with complete protein. But I'll take the BCAAs at about, what do I take? I take 40 grams. I take a lot. So I take that and I have more creatine, an extra 5 to 10 grams of creatine. Now I'm about 225 pounds. So, typically a maintenance dose of creatine, which does what? Well, it gives you more energy. It's in the phosphagen pathway, right? So we donate a phosphate, does creatine, to ADP to make more ATP, the major form of energy in the body, right? And that's one of its hallmark traits. It's an osmolyte, so it supports the influx of water into our cells, hydrates our cells, promotes muscle growth by increasing insulin-like growth factor 1, by supporting the production of satellite cells, which are immature cells that become myonuclei and myotubes, mature muscle cells, right? And it does a whole lot of great things, right? It gives you more energy to think, hydrates your cells, supports muscle growth. It's just fantastic for you, right? So I take creatine. Now, that gives me a lot of energy during my workout. I'm totally fasted. Now, remember, I haven't eaten since yesterday, and I probably cut my window typically around, say, like 9 o'clock, something like that. If I'm going to bed at like 11 or 8 o'clock, something of that nature, a few hours before bed. So I'll talk about what I eat before bed. Let's go through the day. Super U, fast, BCAAs, workout. Right after my workout, I eat carbs. That's right, I eat carbs, and I'm still in great shape. I eat carbs because why? I want to replenish my glycogen stores that I just depleted doing a crazy workout, because I do crazy workouts every day, at least when I go, say 5 days a week, maybe 6 days. I've been doing 5 or 6 every week now. And so that's when I have the majority of my carbs, and especially simple carbs, especially something, and I have it with protein, of course, but especially something like honey. I'll have a nice spoonful of honey, and I'll have 2 bags of scallops, ton of protein. You can't absorb all that protein at once. Myth. You actually will store it in your stomach. The major function of the stomach is storage, guys. It's not digestion. Most of that happens in the intestines, right? So your stomach will store it, and it will stimulate your pancreas to release cholecystokinin, CCK, and it's a hormone that tells your stomach, okay, we're going to hold on to this food. It delays gastric emptying, as we say, telling your stomach we're going to hold on to the food, and we're not going to release it until we're ready to absorb all this protein, right? So you can actually absorb a lot of protein over time that you had from one meal. It's a myth that you won't absorb it all. Okay. Now, I can't say the same if it's, say, liquid protein. Now, if you loaded up a protein shake with like 200 grams of protein, I can't promise you're going to absorb all that, right? Because, it's got different composition. Remember, this is whole food. So I can't speak for anything that's made artificially, right? But it has been shown that we'll absorb all of the 80 grams of protein from a hefty meal, right? And so in one sitting, so that over time at least. Now, I have that big meal, okay? So then typically I would go into my shift, say from 3 to 7. Okay, so it's hard. Now, I'll bring something else to eat while I'm there. It might be chicken over rice or something of that nature. But remember, whatever carbs I'm using here, I wouldn't use something like white rice there. First off, brown rice is superior because it has more soluble fiber. And that's going to feed your gut bacteria, obviously. It's going to make you more regular, right? And, it's going to slow the absorption of the carbohydrates, and we have more fiber with the carbs that we have, right? So that's a really important thing. Now, I'll have quinoa and lentils and brown rice, like a combination of that. I use the 7 grains, right, often. So again, we had Super U in the morning, we had the BCAAs before the workout, after the workout we had a big meal, and now in the next few hours, I'm picking at another meal. So now by the time I get off work, I'm still going to be pretty hungry. I'll have like 4,000 calories in a day, right? And I meet my body weight in grams of protein to 120% of my body weight in grams. Those 2 bags of scallops were about 100 grams right there. So, we're really already at like 140 plus what I was eating. I'm probably at like 180 grams already. And I'm trying to hit that mark at 225. So what do? At this point after work, I'll have a bowl of cottage cheese. If I'm not that hungry, if I'm still pretty hungry, then I'll eat another meal. And it might be something like 4 eggs, right? Something with protein and fat, right? Now, I have my shot of extra virgin olive oil every day as well, sometime in my eating window. So that's noted. Always a shot of extra virgin olive oil. And I don't skip out on my leafy greens because I put them in a shake, which I have almost every day. And I'll typically use spinach, but I'll mix up collard greens or kale. And I use the frozen spinach, the frozen collard greens. It's denser, it's cheaper, and it's not processed anyway because it's frozen. So I'll throw that into the blender, and I'll put some blueberries in there, frozen blueberries, organic. And I will put some kefir in there, get some probiotics, which I also take a probiotic supplement every day, vitamin D, omega-3s, right? A bunch of things that we've talked about, multivitamin, right, just to cover all the bases in case I've missed any essential vitamins and minerals. And so I'll eat that meal of, like a small to moderate sized meal after work if I'm really hungry. But if I'm not, I will just make that bowl of cottage cheese, all right? So I'll eat the cottage cheese with some blueberries, maybe blackberries, raspberries in there. But I make sure I'm having a good amount of cottage cheese. What's up, Gino? My man. Brandon Malone, how you guys doing? Yes. You're the man. And hope you guys have fun tonight. And so after that, I'm pretty much done, right? So what was the window here? It was from like 1 or 2 o'clock to 8. or 7 or so. So say 2 to 7, 5 hours, or 2 to 8, 6 hours, right? So it's really like an 18-6 is what it typically ends up being, which is great. And 6 hours is plenty of time to get your food in, guys. Now, I cut off the food after that. It's just going to be water, and I'm very careful about something. I don't drink a lot of water in close proximity to bedtime. So I make sure I drink a lot during the day, throughout the entire day, and I'll have at least half my body weight in ounces. So I typically have about a gallon, right, or a little more than a gallon. But you also want too much water, because then you can have hyponatremia, where you have, fancy way of saying, too little salt, too low amounts of electrolyte. We lost you for a second, we're back. Because there's an imbalance, right? Too much water, too little electrolytes, and we don't want that either. But most of us don't have to worry about that. Our big problem typically is that we don't drink enough water, right? But why don't we want to drink water close to bed? Well, it's annoying to get up and pee. Obviously, we all know that during the night. But it disrupts your sleep, So, if you have a full stomach, if you have a lot of water in you, your body is uncomfortable when you're sleeping, is trying to focus on recovery at this time. And you're making it focus on digestion. And that's something that it's not going to go through while you're sleeping at nearly as an efficient rate as when you're moving throughout the day. So after my last meal, what do? I'll walk Veronica's dog. We go for a walk. Or I'll just go for a walk, right? But going for a walk after that last meal, I'm telling you, that's a big one too. So you improve the digestion, you get moving, you're not sitting there all sluggish at night, and it's a really great recipe. That has worked so well for me, and I had to share with you guys. Now, I prioritize sleep as well. So I'll get in bed 9 hours before I have to wake up. That's extremely important. If you're going to work out really hard and you're going to be extreme about things, you have to recover really hard in an extreme fashion, right? And so you don't fill a Maserati up with regular. That's the analogy we always use here at When Wellness. You have to respect your body. You have to make sure you get ample amounts of sleep to support proper recovery of your brain and your body, and stimulate muscle growth and optimal amounts of fat burning the next day, right? Now, I sleep in a freezing cold room, typically. My room is cold, like 65. And that supports optimal recovery, right? And it's the best for your brain and everything. So, and body composition. So you definitely want to do that. Quality of sleep. So, at least in my opinion, that's what's worked for me. There are many ways you guys can do it, but I figured I would share the recipe that's really changed my life. Something that I can do consistently that just makes me feel great and look great, and at least I feel, and helps you to think well every day. So go try it if you want to. Now, women, if you're premenopausal in your reproductive years, there is a caveat with the fasting. You don't want to fast longer than 18 hours. Fasting longer than 18 hours could cause infertility, reproductive issues. It could affect how regular your periods are, right? And you could have some issues that are totally unnecessary. So 18 hours puts you right at the beginning of that sweet spot of deep ketosis. So if you're getting there, good job. 18 to 24 hours is where we really get deep into the ketosis. And so if you're somebody who's overweight, you can fast longer for that, of course. Men, I recommend. But women, in the reproductive years, I never recommend fasting longer than 18 hours. So that's it. Yeah. You guys, Malone. That's it. Any questions about that? And you don't need to fast. This is just what I do. Again, you could eat super frequently throughout the day, and there's science behind that, boosting metabolism, and you can have great body composition doing that. Just make sure you hit your daily mark of protein. You have majorly healthy fats. When you have your carbs, especially simple carbs, they come right after your workout, the vast majority of your carbs, with a source of protein. And then throughout the rest of the day, you focus on healthy fats and protein. Healthy food overall. Who do we got on here? Marcus Rose. What up, young stud? How you doing? Lay Kelsey. Merritt. Neeser, how you doing? Guadanabo. Bingo Bongo Bluey. I like your name. I like that. Bingo Bongo Bluey. Natty. Yeah. You guys are beasts. Gina. I love it, man. Hell yeah. Brandon Malone. What's up, brother? Kevin Clark, y'all. It's Kevin Clark, y'all. Oh, I appreciate that so much. Ryan Lewis. Moonbow Rabbit. So the reason I appear confident when I talk is because I know what I'm talking about. And if I was talking about something that I didn't understand well, I wouldn't be nearly as confident. So that's the key there. And I really appreciate that. It made my day. So thank you for that. Idam JC, first one of the day on, night, morning, whatever it is. We appreciate the support. Maybe try this if you're looking to improve body composition, overall health, whatever. So, as for now, yes, Leon and Anta's world. That's what we got for you, folks. We'll see you tomorrow, baby. Not sure where, not sure when, but we'll see you then. Have a fantastic rest of your night. Thanks a lot, and happy Wend Wellness. You guys enjoy the rest of your morning. Good morning.